So since you all really liked the video where I went over all the corrupted tunes in Friday Night Funkin' Pibby mod, I want to go ahead and go over some tunes that didn't make it into that first video and also show you some other corrupted characters that modders in the community are working on right now. The first character that I want to go over is going to be Sonic the Hedgehog, and of course this is the main protagonist in the Sonic franchise. Now, some good news with this version of Sonic is that at least it isn't like Sonic.exe or one of the other evil versions of Sonic. Bad news though is that Sonic the Hedgehog himself is still very powerful, and the fact that the corruption was able to catch him in the first place is very scary and should have people actually kind of worried about some of their other favorite characters. Because in all honesty, I don't think people recognize just how powerful Sonic could be if he had no morals or values like he probably is now that he is corrupted. Now, interestingly enough though, we don't know if any of the other characters in his universe ended up getting corrupted, but we can assume that if the corruption was able to catch Sonic, it was probably able to catch just about anybody else that it went after. The only way I can imagine any of those other characters getting away from the corruption is if Sonic actually sacrificed himself in order to let his friends escape, and that's why he ended up getting corrupted in the first place. But bad news for the people who are fans of Tails. Just snooping around some of the modders' Twitters, it looked like there is a concept art for corrupted Tails coming in the future. The next character that we need to talk about is going to be SpongeBob, aka Corrupted SpongeBob, which of course is the main protagonist of the show SpongeBob SquarePants. I know for a lot of people, seeing SpongeBob corrupted is kind of a blow to the gut a little bit, because he was the goofy, fun-loving little sponge flipping burgers and just trying to bring joy, and now seeing him as like an evil figure does kind of suck. Now, some fun facts about the Corrupted SpongeBob mod is that if his songs sound familiar to you, it's because they're directly from the show. Stadium Rave A and Honolulu March are songs that are actually traditional and reoccurring tracks in SpongeBob. Look them up if you don't believe me. And something else that I found out about SpongeBob that I thought was interesting is that he's actually 35 years old, meaning that he's older than I am, which I would not have guessed. The next character that I want to talk about is going to be Uncle T, aka Mr. Trololo. This character being corrupted is kind of heartbreaking because we all know that he and girlfriend have a very close relationship. He's even seen as being like her godfather. In his original mod, we see girlfriend hugging him tightly, introducing him to boyfriend, and wanting Uncle T to actually accept him. And surprisingly, Uncle T is nothing like Daddy Dearest, even though they're considered to be best friends, and he accepts boyfriend with open arms. So as much as it sucks to see a good character like this be corrupted, I will say that the artist Julian Marrero did a great job of making him look just as creepy as the regular Trololo. And if I'm being honest, I hope to see a little bit more from this corrupted version of Uncle Trololo in the future. The next characters I want to talk about are going to be put together, and it's going to be Vicky and Timmy Turner from the Very Odd Parents. Now, starting off with Vicky, you probably all remember her as being that very sadistic, ruthless, just completely cruel babysitter that used to just ruin Timmy's day whenever she got the chance. And her getting corrupted only made her a more malicious, more terrible person. We see this with the fact that she literally has a chainsaw manifesting from her hand now. And while I'm sure that she is trying to corrupt people just like the other corrupted zombies, she is also using that chainsaw to massacre people, meaning that she is catching bodies, not just trying to make zombies. This makes a lot of sense though, considering that she was a cruel character already to begin with. Some interesting facts about her is that her name Vicky might be a play on the word vicious, and her cruelty didn't just go to people outside of her family. She was even mean to her little sister named Tootsie. And in the episode called Birthday Wish, she literally used to go out of her way to ruin her own little sister's birthday every year. Timmy, on the other hand, is the complete opposite of Vicky. He's not really vicious, he's not mean, he's actually a pretty good kid who actually uses his Fairly Odd Parents to just try to make his life a little bit better. The sad part about Timmy getting corrupted kind of shows us that even though he had these fairy godparents, they were not able to help him, whether because they weren't powerful enough or they just weren't there when he was actually corrupted. And this is another example of just how powerful this corruption really can be if it can even prevent magical creatures from having any type of effect on it. The next character I want to talk about is going to be Twilight Sparkle, who is from the Dusk Till Dawn mod, which was created by Jake Neutron. And after doing a little bit of research, it looks like Jake Neutron is actually responsible for quite a few of the Pibby corrupted characters, and his animations are definitely top tier. Now, even though Twilight Sparkle is the main antagonist in this mod, before she got corrupted, she was actually very well known and very loved by the other ponies in Canterlot. But once the corruption came, she was actually one of the few people that was able to escape and survive, while the rest of the city was completely taken over by the corruption. The only reason she ends up getting corrupted is when she finds boyfriend, and she's actually stopping to either join him or talk to him. She lets down her guard, and the corruption is able to take her over. The next character that I want to talk about is it's going to be corrupted Tord, and of course he's one of the main characters from the Edgeworld series, and later on he became one of the main antagonists in the series. And at first I was kind of surprised that he ended up being caught by the corruption, considering that he has Tord bot, but then when I really thought about it, all these other characters who would definitely be considered to be stronger, faster, just probably even more clever than Tord ended up getting caught by the corruption, so it's not that surprising that he ended up getting caught too. The next two characters we're going to talk about are going to be Bugs Bunny and George Jetson. Bugs Bunny was one of the main characters starring in the Looney Tunes series, and of course he was known as being somewhat of a trickster and a prankster, but after he ended up getting corrupted, he became something a bit more dangerous than that, and now he wants to torment people, so he's no longer just playing games or tricks, and he wants to infect people, meaning making other people zombies as well. Bugs Bunny is one of the few characters that we can actually see fighting against Pibby in the Adult Swim trailer, and George Jetson also makes an appearance in there as well. What's interesting about George is that he is the only toon thus far that has a completely changed body. What I mean by that is that he actually looks like a giant spider. In the Adult Swim trailer, we actually see him kind of rampaging through the woods trying to catch Pibby and her friends. Now, I wish I knew why they decided to make George Jetson specifically this giant spider-like creature, because it doesn't really make sense when you look at his cartoon being like this futuristic type of universe. And this may be the reason that this sprite is considered to be outdated, and they may be updating it in the future. Next up on our list, we have Tom and Jerry, two more OG cartoons from the 1940s. Most of you are probably familiar with these two characters and how they would constantly play games of cat and mouse trying to outsmart each other. It's really no surprise that Tom and Jerry end up getting caught by that corruption, because realistically with these other characters who were caught who were much faster, much stronger than these two, of course they had no chance. Now something that does stand out about these two though is that while they're in their corrupted forms, they stick together, kind of like Jake and Finn, and I think this is kind of a callback to all the episodes and even the Tom and Jerry movie where we kind of get to see Tom and Jerry working together and actually being friends. If you're old like me, you'll remember some of those episodes. Next, I want to talk about Bun Bun, who acted as like Pibby's right-hand man in the Learning with Pibby series. He and Pibby were literally best friends before the darkness, aka the corruption, came and literally ripped Bun Bun away from Pibby while also just devouring their whole world. This is kind of sad when you really think about it, because Bun Bun was probably the most innocent character in the show, period, and the fact that this character ends up becoming like the main antagonist, the big bad, is just a blow to the gut. It makes it even worse when you know that the whole goal of Bun Bun, now that he is corrupted, is to simply destroy all the cartoon worlds. Now let's take a moment and take a look at some characters whose artwork and concept ended up being leaked. And whenever I do this, I always check out a YouTuber called SadFan YouTube. Make sure to go check him out. He makes some awesome content. So as I said earlier, we're gonna have the Pibby corrupted tails. We also have Tweety Bird, and we have this monster version of Tweety. Your parents are probably old enough to recognize where it's at from. We got Billy and Mandy, which are my two favorite characters. We got Six from Little Nightmares, and then of course we got Raven, which I think is my favorite on this list. Now I'm sure there's a ton more characters out there that have been worked on and that have been leaked. Let me know if you want me to do some digging and make a full video showing all the characters that are in the works. And make sure to check out part 1 of this video if you haven't already by clicking the screen here. Thank you for watching. This is Orseofkorse. Peace, peace.